Well, howdy meowdy, I am the Damn Cat Gaming, and this is round 9 of GTRC's GT3 series. This is the finale, the final round, the end of this long season. And for this final round, we are at Road Atlanta. And to be fair, this is a fun little track. It's not the most well-known of American tracks, but it's definitely, in some circles, it's very well-known and very popular. And it's it always makes for good. It usually makes for some really good racing. But let's not spend too much more time going over this when we're here to see some racing action. But before we get into that, for the final time, let's go into what the series is about. So this is the calendar of the series of how it's gone, and this is, like I said, the final round for Road Atlanta. This was a list of permitted cars. We had entrants from all manufacturers except McLaren. There is a few AMGs, there was someone who did sign up in the Aston Martin. We have one driver in the Audi. There's one driver in the BMW. There's one driver in the Dodge Viper. There are both Ferraris are represented. Two drivers signed up in the 458 and one opted to go with the 296. There was a driver who signed up with the Huracan. Someone did sign up with a Lexus. There was two entrants with a Nissan, and I think the max number allowed of Porsches were in the field. Each race is 1 hour long. As is typical for the GTRC series, qualifying is in practice mode with a set number of flying laps. In this case, it is 2 flying laps. That is 2 opportunities to set a qualifying time. Tire wear and fuel rate are both set to 3x, which means that for every lap run, there is 3 laps worth of tire wear and fuel consumed. The refuel rate is at 8 liters per second, which is a good rate. It's not too quick to. It's basically the right pace for fuel refueling to allow for a multitude of strategies to be viable. Both the one stop and the 2 stop at least are not hindered too much by the refuel rate. And then weather is set to random, so with tracks where rain is a threat, well, we have to be prepared. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, Road Atlanta is not a track where it rains in GT7. Very unrealistic, might I add. Road Atlanta is infamous for raining. It's in one of the wettest regions of the United States, so it rains frequently in Atlanta. Required tire compounds are both hards and mediums. That is, each driver must use both hards and mediums each for a minimum of 5 racing laps. But it is at their discretion when and for how long, as long as it's at least 5 laps, they run on each compound. Coming into the points, we have Superboy in the lead with 137 points. Maple Syrup, or Ishmael as is also goes by, is just 4 points behind at 133. Petrol is third at 103. Bar is fourth with 83. Hair Razor fifth with 76. Mike is 6th with 74. Doug Barrow is 7th at 62. The Damn Cat is 8th at 51. Reserve driver Tap is 9th at 44. Flag is 10th at 43. Type R is in 11th at 41. Drone Kobe 12th at 35. Eagle is 13th at 22. And ATB and UU bring up the rear of the entrance with points at 17. Alright, let's flip over to the race screen to go through our qualifying order, because I did not get a screenshot of that. That is on me. But we have Ishmael starting in first in the Audi. Superboy is starting in second in the Ferrari 458. Tap third in the AMG. Doug Barrow fourth in the Ferrari 296. Drone Kobe is starting in fifth in the AMG. He missed a few rounds. Good to see him come back for the finale. And we have Egon starting in sixth, making his season debut in the finale. It was good to see him on track. We've been looking forward to racing with him, and glad he was able to join us, at least for this round. We have Type R in the BMW breaking in seventh, and the Damn Cat starting in the rear, and the Dodge Viper. And this series is a rolling start. We'll start kind of close to the front. And away we go, the lights are green. And we see Ishmael already starting a little bit of weave in there, probably just to get a little additional heat in these tires. Definitely needed for this track. This track will definitely destroy the tires as we go along. So far, everybody is side by side. No real action going on. Super, as it is in his interest for his championship hopes to stay on the rear bumper of Ishmael. He does not want to get away. Basically, if Superboy finishes second and Ishmael wins, if Ishmael wins and Superboy finishes second, and Superboy has the fastest lap, then these two will end the season in a tie. Any other scenario other than Superboy winning the race outright results in Ishmael winning the championship. So expect to see these two to go at it all race long. And at the moment, we see Superboy in the lead. It took him all of the first lap, but he made his way around the final corner. But Ishmael is looking to answer. Of course, for a good race, Tap's also looking for a good race. He's had a couple of down moments this season, but right now he is in prime position to have a good finish. Because based on this good start he's having so far. Starting in third. I would say we have Doug in fourth still. Drone is in fifth. Just trying to stay out of the back of Doug there. We have Egon still in sixth. Type R in seventh, and the Damn Cat is still in the rear, coming back to the front. Looks like Ishmael is going to make a run down the long straight. Body basically getting a better exit out of I call it the ham bone. The two right-handers coming into the long straight. And we see Ishmael gets the lead back. In the same place, Superboy took the lead at the end of lap 1. So at the end of lap 2, see Ishmael has regained the lead. Super's looking to the inside, ends up having to check off. And that's going to allow Tap to really get on his rear bumper now. This is a potentially 4-way battle for the lead coming up here. If Doug can kind of stay close to this group, But at the moment, we have the Audi of Ishmael, the Ferrari Superboy, and the AMG of Tap right here. It's back to back to back, staying close. We see Ishmael starting to pull a little gap here. And the Audi just gets much better acceleration out of the ham bone, or chicken wing, whatever. I call it the ham bone because the track resembles a pork chop. So those two right-handers to me just resemble a ham bone. So that's why I call it that. So now Ishmael's got about a second over Superboy, who's got Tap right on his rear bumper now. Doug is right behind these two in fourth. Drones just keeping it clean, keeping it tidy here in fifth. Egon's still killing here in sixth. Then we have Type R and the Damn Cat picking it out here in seventh and eighth. Just 4 minutes in. Alright, let's come back to the front. See if we can see any good action going on here. See Ishmael, he's starting to pull a gap on Superboy. That's about a second-ish gap now. And like I said earlier, Superboy is going to want to have fastest lap regardless of where he finishes. Because him having fastest lap just improves the odds of him coming in front. If Ishmael wins, Superboy has to finish second and have fastest lap in order to maintain a tie. If Ishmael wins and Superboy is in any position other than second, Ishmael wins the championship. Assuming, of course, there's no incidents between the two. Right. So we still have Super C still chasing here in seconds early. And like I'm prone to saying, it does not really matter where you start the race, but starting here where these two have is definitely beneficial for each other. What really matters in the end is where you finish, and we're still a long ways from figuring that out. Alright, so we have Tap here in third. He's got a little gap with Super now. Super's starting to pull away from him. Egon has moved into fourth. We missed that. We'll see Doug trying to get back around him. I think then we have Type R in sixth, the Damn Cat in seventh, and Drone. Something must have happened to him as he is now bringing up the rear. And he's got a good gap to the Damn Cat in front of him. So we have Ishmael building up a bigger gap over Superboy, who has a half-second penalty. We see Superboy just served it. Tap is closing in big time with Superboy having served that penalty, but it looked like Tap just gave him a nice little shove into the chicane instead of trying to go around him. See Egon here in fourth. Doug getting squirrely out of the chicane, but makes a big run on Egon all the same. We have Type R here in sixth, the Damn Cat here in seventh. Trying to go wide, that Viper is, but this is not an easy track to keep this car under control. As we'll just have to monitor this Viper to see how often he spins. Then we have the Drone Kobe here in last, and the AMG, that Cleveland Browns AM colored AMG. We have Ishmael still in the lead, and that gap has gotten bigger. That penalty did not help Superboy in the slightest, and now he's got to try to close back up to the Audi of Ishmael and try to keep the Mercedes of Tap right behind him. See the Ferrari of Doug get a good exit out of the ham bone, making some closing in some gap on Egon real good here. And in the background we see the Viper closing in on the BMW of Type R. I think anything's gonna happen this lap. We're gonna come back to Tron, watch him go back. 7 laps in. Ishmael's got a now massive gap to Superboy. This is not what Superboy needs. It's wants to be happening right now, but it's still early. He can still close it back in, but he's got to play his cards right now. And he's definitely got to get the pitch strategy right. Taps here in 30. He's currently doing a good job just playing spoiler. He wants to get as many points as he can, and if he can play spoiler here in the standings, I have no doubt he will do so. Egon's still chilling here in 4th. You still got the Ferrari Doug right behind him. The Ferrari's clearly got the better pace in this Porsche, but the Porsche is putting up solid defensive effort to keep the Doug right behind him. And likewise, we're seeing BMW and the Viper going at it. This is where the Viper really excels these long straights, and Viper has gone by. Really nothing Type R could really do there. Besides just watch the Viper go by. And the Mercedes of Trone is closing into the 2 of them. Alright, so we have Superboy here in second. He's trying to manage Tap right now. But he really needs to be focusing on reeling in Ishmael. Of course, it's easier to do when you don't have a light blue Mercedes right on your rear bumper around all these corners. Yeah, you see Doug did manage to get around Egon. So eventually the defensive effort for the Porsche failed to succumb to the general pace difference between these 2 drivers. See, Doug has moved up into 4th for the time being. We have Egon here in 5th. Demcat has moved up into 6th, and he's got the BMW right behind him still. And the AMG of Trone Colby is right behind them. This is shaping up to be a potential battle here for not last, coming up here soon. Alright, nice and tidy still so far. Let's come back to the front. We see big gap to Ishmael and Superboy. Super's not really able to get away from Tap at this right now. But Tap's also not really closing in much more than he is already. A little touch of the grass there can't be enough to unstable the car in just any car. It doesn't matter what you're driving in. Find yourself facing the wrong way in the worst case, smack dab in a wall. He kind of, like Superman, just lost a smidge of time with that little grass touch he did. And Tap gets a much better run out of the hand bone. And Tap might have been close enough to where he can maybe close in over the course of the straight, but looks like for now he's going to hold on to his position. And right now Doug is under threat from Egon. Porsche was looking to make a move, but he thought better of it going into the chicane and said, we're going to fight another day. We're going to continue this fight as we go around the start finish line. Again, peeking up the inside is that Porsche. But Doug overall gets the better run through the first 2 corners. And we see Trone has gotten around Type R. Still early. And these two are still close together. Still got the makings of a good battle here. In the back of the grid. Meanwhile, Ishmael's had a brief challenge early in the race from Superboy, but Superboy's fallen to third here from Tap. We missed that overtake. Not sure what happened there. Doug is not too far behind, and Egon's right behind him. And saw in the background the damn cat coming over that hill on that Viper. And he's got the Mercedes of Tyrone Colby right behind him. And then Ty Bar is trying to keep these two in his sights. He doesn't want these two to lose touch of these two. Meanwhile, Schmier's on his own. Tap's in second. Super's still in third, and he's losing ground to Tap. It's not something he wants to be seeing. He doesn't want to be. Definitely doesn't want to be third right now. He definitely needs to find out his way to catch up to and get around that Mercedes. Because unless something happens to Ishmael and he falls off big time, if Ishmael wins this race, Super has got to be second place to even have a chance of being the co-champion. Because if Ishmael wins this race and Superboy is second, if Superboy has the fastest lap, like I said earlier, he will tie Ishmael for the championship lead. However, if Ishmael wins and Superboy is any position other than second, that gives Ishmael the lead. It's a little swirly going out of the chicane. That's not going to help him catch up to Tap. Right now, the Viper, the damn cat, is under threat from Tyrone Colby right now. He turned one. Mercedes gets a significantly better run. There's a little bit of a love tap there. The difference in pace between the two in that corner is pretty significant right now. Expect the Mercedes to make a move here soon, unless the Viper can just keep him behind. I think at the moment this is the closest thing to an actual battle on the track. Viper's having to hug these apexes to keep their Mercedes behind them. And they got a pretty equal exit out of the ham bone. It's just I think the Vipers will have a slightly better edge in terms of just sheer grunt for acceleration. Then nice and smooth through the chicane. And they're going to have to go at it another lap. Let's go check on everyone else real quick. Oh, we got a moment. Oh, we got to where they're on that street. Got Tap here in second. We still got Super here in third. Doug still in fourth. Egon still trailing in fifth. The Viper trying to keep the Cleveland Browns Mercedes behind him. Viper being very liberal with those curbs. And he pays the price. He gets a penalty. That's going to let the Mercedes get sixth place. Even though the Viper tried to hold him back until at least getting to the penalty zone. And we see the Viper actually pulled ahead there slightly before getting to the penalty zone. Now can the damn cat answer? Can he keep up and keep close to the Mercedes? We'll find out here in a little bit. See Ishmael, big gap. Tap's here in second. We have Super here in third. Not too far behind, but he needs to be closing in more. We have Doug here in fourth, closing in on Superboy. We have Egon here in fifth. starting to lose touch to Doug. Kind of needs to kind of just settle in, run his race. Right now he's having a solid race so far. He's P5 is not a bad spot for the first time in a while seeing this guy on track. You know, we have Trone here in 6th, the Damn Cat's still in 7th, and close enough to strike if he can get around these corners well enough. And we see Type R here in the BMW here in 8th. He's not too far behind. He's still keeping these two in his sights. And right now, that's really all he needs to do. He just needs to keep these two in his sights because they're probably going to keep going at it. And if something happens, he can keep up there with them. Anything happens to either one of them, that's a free position for him. Meanwhile, back to the front, we have Ishmael here. Massive gap to second place. Just got tapped. See Superboy practically drifting around that curve. Get corner. He got a little too much curve there. Wanted to send the rear on a slide. He just did good holding on to it. Keeping the car going in the right direction without losing too much pace. But still letting Doug Barrow catch up to him. Slowly but surely. You know, Egon is definitely losing touch to Doug now. And we see it looks like Trone might actually be gaining, and the Damn Cat both might actually be gaining on him. And Type R right there as well. That all seem to be closing in on the Porsche of Egon, so this might become a four-way battle for 5th for too long. So both Ferraris got a little slidey ways coming out of the chicane. That's going to let Tap kind of build up a gap over these two. And Doug is trying to close in this gap because he wants to get as many points as he can. Because where he is in the standings is not typical. Even if he has missed a round or two. And we see a driver, the Damn Cat, has gone into the pits. Pretty early. It's only 20 minutes in, so I'm gonna have to guess that the Damn Cat is going for a 2-stop if he's pitting this early. That gives Type R the 7th place for the time being. And the Damn Cat picked up a half-second penalty at some point. Better than a 3-second, I suppose. And here's the leader, Ishmael. Not too far behind the Damn Cat at this point. We have Tap here in 2nd. He's got Superboy not too far behind him in 3rd. Doug is not too far behind Super in 4th. Egon's kind of on his own at the moment at 5th. But he does have Trone trying to close in on him. And Type R doing the same. And now the Damn Cat's going to be trying to close in that big gap that's now open between him and everyone in front of him. See how that pays off. Meanwhile, we have Ishmael here. Big gap to 2nd place. We're still tapped for the time being. We have Super still here in 30. He's actually closing in on Tap now. And there's Doug in 4th. He's just not really closing in at this point, but he's also not falling back, so he's standing pat with Superboy at the moment. Egon's here in 5th. Like I say, he's just running his own race at the moment, which is really all he needs to do. If he can keep this type of pace up, he should be good, have a good finish for his first entry into the season. Shame it's the finale. I want to see this guy out there more. Well, we have Trone here in 6th. Yeah, he's closing in on Egon pretty good. That's a much smaller gap than it was last lap. Type R is slowly falling behind, but he still has him in his sights, which is still a good thing. Meanwhile, the Damn Cat is on his lonesome. Meanwhile, Ishmael also all by his lonesome. Long ways. There's a car. He's closer to the last place driver than he is the second place right now. Meanwhile, Tap is in second. Super is closing in third. This gap is shrinking pretty good, pretty big now. But this is about to turn into a battle for second, which is what Super needs, but he also needs to be gaining on Ishmael so he can challenge for the lead. Because Super's best chance of holding on to the championship is for him to win this race outright. Doug's not too far behind this Ferrari in third, but we're going to see the Super try to make a move here in the chicane. He's not quite close enough to make one work, so another lap and a half, and then something will happen with these two. If it doesn't happen before the chicane this lap, this is getting very spicy now. Super making a move to the inside. He's going to try to take it on the inside on turn one. And who pushes a wide. Tap takes advantage and regains second place. These two duking it out like this is going to let Ishmael run away further, and it's going to let Doug reel them in. We see Trone is going into the pits. Type R went into the pits last lap. So there's at least 3 drivers, I'm going to say now, on a 2-stop strategy. The question is, does Superboy make the move in the chicane now? He does not. He just follows Tap through. He's going to prefer to try to make that move either on the last corner or not, or he's going to go to the pits. That's not expected. So Super might be on a 2-stop strategy here with 1% of fuel left. Yeah, he's definitely not going to make a 1-stop work. So I guess for the time being, Doug third. Egon is now fourth, and he is going for a ride right into the wall. Not what you want to see, but fortunately for him, he's got a gap to play with. But you don't want to see that sliding off of the wall. That can easily go all kinds of wrong. Talking engine damage and all that, but I don't think he was able to get away with no engine damage, but I'm pretty sure he's for now got front aero and some suspension damage. Fortunately, the damage is on light, so it will go away in a few seconds. Superboy comes out of pits in 5th. We see Trone Gulby here in 6th. The Damn Cat is in 7th place, having gotten around Type R. I don't know if he just beat him out of the pits, or if he was able to make a move somewhere. See Type R not too far behind. Viper going wide again, begging for a penalty, it seems. And the system delivers, gives him another penalty. I mean, he was asking for it going that wide, so. See Ishmael over here in the lead. He is closing in on these back 3. We have Tap here in 2nd. Doug is up to 3rd with the pit sequence. He got up to 4th still, and he's got Superboy behind him in 5th. At the moment, nothing really close. Trone in 6th, the Damn Cat here in 7th. Type R bringing up the rear. And we see Ishmael continuing on, very likely going for that 1-stop strategy. probably is going to be the winning strategy. Tap here in second. Doug's here in third, closing it, reeling him in. Tap's really slowed down. He's probably fuel saving, trying to make it to the halfway mark. He got here in fourth. He's zipping along after his little off earlier. So fortunately for him, he had that big gap to play with, so didn't lose too much time. We have Strone still in sixth. The Damn Cat's trying to close him back in here in seventh. And Type R right there in eighth, and I'm pretty sure we're sticking with Type R long enough. Here, cresting the hill is Ishmael. Like I said, the leader is closing in on these back three. We might be seeing blue flag situations soon. Well, Taps here in second. Doug not too far behind in third, and we see Type R diving into the pits again. We also see Ishmael going into the pits. I have to wonder, did Type R forget to take tires when he went in earlier? If that was him, though. If that was the case, I would have just stuck out the tires, but that's me. See Doug moving into the lead for the time being. Tap has gone into the pits with no fuel left in the tank. And as Type R comes out immediately in front of Doug. Ishmael's coming out of pits now. Will very likely reclaim the lead once Doug takes his pit stop here momentarily. Egon comes in with 1% of fuel left at the halfway mark, so he's good, solid footing for a one stop. Trone here in sixth. Damn Cat is right behind him in seventh. And Type R here in eighth. Looks like it may have just been another bit of snafu. He's done that earlier this season where he's, I don't know if they just forgot to send him on without changing the tires or what, but I know he can't be happy with the crew chief, this pit crew right now, because they've really put him on the back foot now. He's got a long way to catch up to Egon in seventh place coming out of pits, but Egon is on the one stop. Trone, Kobe, and the Damn Cat are both on two stops, and Doug goes into the pits. And we see Ishmael coming out of the chicane now, so he is going to reclaim the lead. See Superboy here in third. He is actually very likely going to be in second once he comes around the corner here. Yeah, he's going to be Doug coming out, so Superboy is going to, for the time being, be in second place. And Doug is just not coming out, so he might actually... Oh, it's going to be close between him and Tap. Doug beats Tap out, so Doug is going to be in third place. But he is under immediate fire from the Mercedes of Tap. And not too far behind Tap is the Mercedes of Trone Kobe. And not too far behind him is the Dodge Viper of the Damn Cat. The Damn Cat keeps playing with fire there. He is asking for a penalty, man. He keeps going to the limit and beyond on that corner. But the stewards showed mercy and gave him no penalty this time. So, Egon is here in seventh. Let's see. Nope, they're not close enough to do anything. Trone and the Damn Cat. The Damn Cat's too far to make a move here, but Trone goes wide into the grass. Oof. There was contact there between the two. Drone spun. Damn cat got into the back of him. That is unfortunate. Fortunately, there was a big enough gap between Trone and Egon to where, of course, this happens. I think is Trone's going to have dirty tires for a little bit of rear aero, and maybe an instant report to put in later. All right, we have Egon here in 7th. We have Type R here in 8th. Kind of on his own. He kind of's got a lot of ground to catch up. He's closest car to him is Egon. Meanwhile, Ishmael still got the lead. Superboy is here in 2nd place. This is where he wants to be, but he needs to be trying to get that fastest lap. His currently so far seems his personal best for the race so far is about close to a half second slower than Ishmael's current leading lap. Super's definitely going to need to find some more pace somewhere because he needs to close in on the Audi and he needs to get the fastest lap. Ideally, he needs to do both simultaneously. We have Doug here in 3rd. Tap's not too far behind in 4th. Damn Cat currently in 5th place. Kind of on his own after that little kerfluffle with Trone Colby. He's currently in 6th place. And he's got the Porsche of Egon not too far behind him. Took a lot of curb there, he did. That's an easy way to lose a car. Doesn't matter what you're driving. No, I don't know of any cars, any GT3 cars that like that curve like that. But he held on to it. He kept it going. He did good. Alright, back to Type R. Still cruising, still going. He ain't giving up yet. You just got a lot of work to do to make up for that little snafu, that little pit mistake earlier. Probably screaming at his pit crew for not putting the right tires on. Anyway, Ishmael's got the lead, but it's a lot smaller than it was earlier. Super currently has not a huge gap to him. However, what we do know is that Ishmael is on the one stop, and given when Superboy pit and how much fuel he had left, he is very likely on a 2-stop strategy. So he really needs to be pushing and dialing as he needs to get around Super Ishmael now, and then build a gap for when he has to pit the second time. And he is closing in slowly but surely on the Audi. You know, Doug is here in 3rd. He's got a Tap not too far behind. Damn Cat's not too far behind these two. But unlike Doug and Tap, the Damn Cat is on a 2-stop strategy. And so it's probably going to be pitting within the next 10 minutes. 15 minutes at most. Assuming a reasonable strategy, of course. Alright, so Trump Kobe's here in 6th. He's got Egon right behind him in 7th. And Type R, he's closed the gap, it seems, to Egon. So he's moving. He is moving in the right direction, and he is slowly closing that gap to Egon. Meanwhile, we have Audi of Ishmael not quite yet under threat from the Ferrari Superboy, but there is definitely pressure about to be applied between these two. Question is, can Superboy get around him and then skedaddle enough for his second pit stop to not put him behind Ishmael again? certainly is the question. And this is about to become a battle, it looks like. Superboy is definitely reeling in the Audi of Ishmael. The question is going to be, can he get around the Audi? Is the sheer difference in pace enough? I think it was. That might have been a little nudge from Super into Ishmael, but definitely just a just a little love tap. No hard, no foul from that kind of tap. So now, Super's job is build that gap. He needs to build the gap big enough so that when he pits the second time, because we know at this point he's probably going to have to pit again, he needs to have a big enough gap such that Ishmael is still behind him when he comes out. Doug is currently in third. He is in prime position for a good podium finish at this stage, and we are approaching the latter stages of the race when our two stoppers should be about to pit. And speak of the devil, the damn cat is coming in for his second pit stop. Drone Colby is going around. So Tyrone is going to move into 5th place for the time being. Egon is going to move up into 6th. And a very high probability that Egon is on the 1 stop. So now Egon has just got to keep this Viper behind him once he comes out. We see Type R is going to come around the damn cat. So coming out of pits for the second, hopefully for him, his final time, the damn cat comes out again, once again, in 8th place. Meanwhile, we have Superboy here in the lead. He has the Audi of Ishmael not too far behind, but that gap really isn't growing big enough for Super to pit with a reasonable amount of time left. And have a gap that keeps Ishmael behind him. Meanwhile, Doug is here in 3rd, and he is slowly and surely reeling this Audi in himself. And he is pulling away from the Mercedes of Tap as well. Drone's still in 5th, Egon still in 6th. Type R is currently in 7th, and he is under threat already. Well, under pressure maybe. Not exactly being threatened by the Viper yet. Give him another lap, and that's maybe even not even a lap. And that story will change. Maybe. We have Superboy in the lead. He's trying to build the gap over Ishmael. The question is, does he have the fuel tire to continue to build that gap? I think we should expect to see Super pit probably within the next 2.5 minutes. So maybe not just this lap, but the next lap I would expect to see Superboy come in. Give himself 15 minutes to solidify his lead, to regain and attempt to solidify the lead. Meanwhile, Doug is here in 3rd. He is reeling both of these two in, slowly but surely. And Tap is not too far behind at 4th. Citroen has gone into the pits. Taking fresh tires, some fuel. You see Type R still has the Viper behind him. And we see Trone is coming out. And it's going to put him in the very back of the grid for the time being. Meanwhile, Supra still in the lead. Trone is going to come out right in front of Superboy. That's potentially good news for Ishmael, because if Supra catches up to Trone, and we see Supra flashing his lights at the Mercedes already, said, hey, get out of my way, I got a gap to build. And Supra needs to be building that gap. The last thing he needs is to be dealing with blue flag traffic. Still got a gap to Trone, but ideally he wants Trone between him and Ishmael. And meanwhile, Doug is still reeling in Ishmael slowly but surely. Pretty big clip, actually not so slow, and very surely. Tap's keeping close, about that same gap. We have Egon all by his lonesome here in 5th. Type R is in 6th. There's a gap that's built between him and the damn cat. Something that must have happened. And we see Supra go into the pits. He is going to lose at least one position. Ishmael has already claimed the lead. Does Doug come out? Yep. I'm pretty sure Doug is going to come out in front of Superboy. And Tap is going to be close. Superboy is going to come out behind Tap. Down to 4th place with just under 15 minutes to go. Excuse me. And a large gap to close in between him and Tap, much less Ishmael in the lead. Yeah, but you got here in 5th. Type R is still in 6th. We still have the Damn K here in 7th. And Trone is still here in 8th. And now Ishmael has reclaimed the lead after Supra's second pit stop. Doug is now in 2nd and in prime position. At the rate that he is going to be challenging Ishmael for the win, which is actually good news for Supra. If Doug can get ahead of Ishmael and take the win, that might actually be enough to allow Supra to keep the lead in the points. So if I am Supra right now, I am doing two things simultaneously. I am trying to close this gap to Tap immediately, as close to immediately as possible, and begging for Doug to take the lead. Because Doug taking the lead right now is beneficial to Supra and his points championship standing. Egon's still here in 5th. We have Type R here in 6th. Damn Cat of the Viper in 7th. Just trying to close that BMW back down. And we have Trone here in 8th. Just trying to stay close. You know, I've got Ishmael right behind him. Right now, Ishmael is closer to Trone than Doug is to him, but that is changing quickly, corner by corner. At this rate, Doug will be on the rear bumper of Ishmael within the next few laps, and that's something Superboy would be loving to see. Ideally, at this point he's wanting to see Doug move into the lead. And even better for him if Tap gets involved and gets ahead of Ishmael as well. but that's a pretty big gap for Ishmael to close, and Doug is pulling away from him, and he's not really, doesn't seem to be closing in on the leader himself. So if Superboy in the next 12 minutes can close in and get around Tap, that'll be good. And then if Doug can get around Ishmael, that might actually be enough for Superboy to maintain and win this series. This season is boiling down to the next 11 minutes. And right now, Superboy is not where he wants to be. He wants to be a lot closer to the front, because the closer he is to the front, the better his chances of holding on to the lead, the points lead, and securing championship win. However, with 11 minutes to go, we're starting to see Doug isn't quite closing as quickly as he was a couple of laps ago. It seems like he's still gaining, but the rate of that gain has gone down. It seems like. I said Tap's in third, Supra's in fourth. Supra is going to want to be getting around Tap, because again, another position gained for him improves his chances of holding on to this points lead that is very likely, if the race finishes now, especially, to slip out of his grasp. You guys still in fifth, still a good race for the day, even with his off. He's still got holding on to top 5. Type R in 6th right now. Just despite his pit snafu, is definitely recovered from that. He is holding on to 6th place, ahead of the damn cat and ahead of Tron Colby. Tron is also doing well. He is trying to recover from multiple spins early in the race, including one where his rear end was obliterated by the Viper, but that's probably going to go to Stewart's, if I had to imagine. Ishmael is here in the lead. He's got Doug close behind. Under 9 minutes to go. Doug is at this point probably about 5 seconds behind in closing. Tap is not too far behind, but not close enough to really pose much threat to Doug at this point. And Supra's here in fourth, trying to reel in that Mercedes in front of him. And he's doing it slowly. Problem is, it might be too slowly. You guys holding on a solid 5th place still. Type R is still here in 6th, cruising along. Damn Cat's still in 7th. And Trone's still trying to reel that Viper back in. Well, Ishmael is still holding on to the lead, but that lead is shrinking. Every corner, just a little bit by little bit. Doug is getting closer and closer to him. Tap's not too far behind. If this just actually get into a proper battle, Tap is actually, depending on how much time is left, if Tap is doesn't fall too far back, even though he's probably fuel saving, just judging by the way this Mercedes is revving, it sounds like Tap is fuel saving here, because we did see he pulled into pits with 0 fuel left. So to go the distance, he's probably fuel saving, so he may not be able to reel in Doug and Ishmael enough, if that is the case. And Doug is just still slowly but surely ticking away the meters between him and Ishmael. Supra's here in fourth. He is closing in on Tap. It's just still a big gap and not a lot of time. Just over 6 minutes remain to close in that gap. Egon's here in fifth. He's just chilling. He's running his own race. And that, frankly, is all he needs to do. He can keep this distance between him and Type R. Then he has got himself a solid top 5 finish, which is particularly impressive given how long it's been since we've seen the man on track. Type R still in 6th. We have the Cat in 7th, trying to reel the BMW in, but not a lot of progress being made there. Meanwhile, a lot of progress has been made in regards to Tron Colby closing the gap to the Cat. Basically, Tron Colby does need to be aware that the leader is behind him, not too far behind. And if Doug keeps closing in at the rate he's closing in within the next lap or two, this is about to be a battle for the lead between Ishmael and Doug. So like I said, little by little, Doug is closing in on the Audi. However, under 5 minutes remain in the race. Doug seems to be struggling with the right-handers, but I think at this stage of the race, almost everybody is in that boat. We know all of our one-stoppers are in that boat. Ishmael's probably struggling a bit. Doug appears to be struggling a little bit. I don't know, Tap might actually be doing alright. He's known for doing very well with fuel tire saving. So Tap is probably still got a good time. He's probably not struggling as much as Doug is with the right-handers, but he's fuel saving, so he can make it the whole race, the remainder of the race, given that he barely made it halfway. Meanwhile, Supra is here in 4th, trying to close in, and he's got a whole second penalty. That is going to hurt him badly. Meanwhile, we have Egon here in 5th. Type R is reeling him in. In a couple of laps, this might be a battle for 5th. However, there's only a couple of laps to go. We're within under 4 minutes, just over 3 minutes remaining in the race. That is 2, maybe 3 laps to go. And this is about to become a battle for 5th. We have the Damn Cat here in 7th. Tron Colby here in 8th. The Damn Cat seems to be struggling here right now. Struggling with some of these right-handers, it seems. It seems like his front left is about as dead as the one-stoppers, it seems like, the way he's going. Is definitely making these corners a lot quicker and closing in rapidly on the Viper in front of him. This might become a battle at the final lap. We'll have to come back to it. Ishmael is losing ground to Doug slowly but surely, but just over 2 minutes remain, and it may not be enough. The ground is closing, but nowhere near the gap, the rate it was earlier. And I think so. This is not good news for Supra. Doug needs, it seems like the race closing in. Doug is going to need another. So we see Type R going into the pits. You need a splash of fuel. Talk about being mad at the pit crew. He had to dive in for a splash of fuel. That cost him a battle for 5th. And now he is behind these two, and he is going to be coming out behind. That looks like Doug that he is coming out behind. Oh, and he gets it wrong immediately. That is not what we want to see. And now he is being caught up by Tap. Okay, we probably was not expecting to see a BMW on the track in front of him. Alright, so we're at under a minute to go. Ishmael and Doug. Doug is closing. Doug is closing that gap slowly but surely. Question at this point is it too slowly? These two do get a final lap. So like we surmised, this is probably going to be a final lap battle between these two for 6th place. We have Ishmael and Doug. The final lap has begun now. Doug has got a long way to go if he's going to make a battle of it. Tap has finished his race in 3rd. Superboy did not close in enough. He will be finishing in 4th. So we gave a good effort, but it's now in his fate is now in Doug's hands. He got us here in 5th. He's got the damn cat right behind him, and right behind the damn cat is Tron Colby. This is the last lap. Tron's got the run of the Viper. That's not something we've said at all today. On the straight. See a move up the inside. Slight contact was made enough to send the Viper wide. Tron checks up, gives the position back. Nice clean sportsmanship. Egon finishes in 5th. Damn Cat in 6th. Tron in 7th. And Ishmael and Doug. Doug was not able to close in the gap. Ishmael takes the win. Doug finishes 2nd. That was a good race. Fun race. So in the end, we see Ishmael with the win and the fastest lap. Worst case scenario for Superboy as far as the points are concerned. Doug finished 2nd. Part another lap, and Doug would have had the win, and that Doug would have taken the win. That might have be enough for Superboy to keep the points. However, Ishmael takes the win and fastest lap. That was worst case scenario for Superboy, even if he finished 2nd, because that means Ishmael wins the championship, barring any incident reports that we might have missed that may see Ishmael slip a position. But as it stands now, Ishmael finishes 1st, then the fastest lap. Doug in 2nd, Tap in 3rd, Superboy with a 4th place finish, Egon in 5th. Welcome to the party. Sorry that it's over, man. It was good to see you on track, and we like to be on. We want to see you out there some more. We got the damn cat finishing in 6th, Tron Colby in 7th, and Type R in 8th. This has been a fun series. We're already looking forward to the next one, whatever it may be, but we can't look forward too far ahead because we still have 2 rounds left to go of the Elantra Trophy series. Still have those 2 rounds to go. Just some administrative clerical errors have caused us to have to push these final 2 rounds out. And so in 2 weeks' time, we will have round 7 of the Elantras. I do believe that will be at Blue Moon Bay. And then the finale, I don't know if we'll do it 2 weeks after or the week after, will be the finale of that at Grand Valley. I am the Damn Cat. I appreciate you joining us for this series. On behalf of the Gran Turismo racing community, appreciate the likes, the shares, and the follows on both of our channels, on both my channel, The Damn Cat Gaming, and the GTRC YouTube channel. Appreciate the likes, shares, and follows. Helps our channels grow and helps us get more content like this out to you. I am the Damn Cat signing off, and I will catch y'all next time.